Good morning, students. How are you? How are you doing? I hope you are doing very well in your studies. This is your science teacher. Today we are going to learn about soil erosion and conservation, the fourth lesson from fifth class science. Dear students, in previous classes we have complete what is the soil erosion. Now let us discuss running water causes soil erosion. How running water causes soil erosion? Heavy rains cause floods. Flooded rivers and running water wash away the topsoil. Running water washes the soil of the hill slopes. This makes the slopes unfit for cultivation. The Chambal Valley of Madhya Pradesh is one such example. A river coming down the hill carries a lot of mud with it. Upon reaching the plains, the flow of the river slows down. It leaves part of the soil on its way. Dear students, running water causes soil erosion. It leaves part of the soil on its way. Over a period of time, soil accumulates and makes the river change its course. You may have heard of the Yellow River in China called Havango. It was known as the sorrow of China because it changed its course very often. This results in loss of life and property. In Bihar River Kosi, which changes its course frequently, caused great havoc in 2008 when effects lack of people were affected. Dear students, how running water causes soil erosion? As the rainwater flows over the land, it carries a part of soil with it. This results in soil erosion. Soil erosion by water is greater in hilly areas. As the water flows down fast in hilly areas, the fast flowing rivers, particularly in hilly areas, causes the soil erosion. The rivers carry that the more and more soil with it as the flow down. When this river reaches the plain land, it flows down and some of the soil get deposited on the way. Sometimes this deposition gets so much that the river can change their direction due to the direction of rivers. That river water may enter nearby villages. This will result into flooding, loss of life and damage to the property. Dear students, next one is wind causes soil erosion. Wind causes soil erosion. How wind causes soil erosion? Let us discuss now. In desert and semi-desert regions where strong winds blow, a good part of topsoil is this affects the farmers because manure too is blown away. Quite often the roots of plants lose their soil cover and the plant die. Dear students, the effects of the farmers because manure too is blown away. Quite often the roots of plants lose their soil cover and the plants die. Dear students, strong winds cause the topsoil to be blown away, particularly in the areas where there are less trees or plants, to blowing the soil together. This soil settles down in the area where there when speed slow wind erosion. It greatest in the dry places such as desert. Dear students, wind and flowing water wash away the topsoil. These are natural causes. Wind and flowing water wash away the topsoil. Land that does not have plants growing on it is called barren. Barren soil gets exposed to heat and sunlight and dries up quickly. The dry loosened topsoil is easily removed by the wind and flowing water. This is how the absence of vegetation causes soil erosion. Next one is the topic of human beings also causes soil erosion. Erosion due to human activities. What are they? Roots of trees and plants hold the soil together. Felling of trees or deforestation is a major cause of soil erosion. When trees are cut down, the soil becomes loose and is easily carried away. Humans Flying, Floughing of hill slopes is yet another human factor that leads to soil erosion. Floughing of slopes is yet another human factor that leads to soil erosion. Overgrazing by cattle also causes soil erosion. Dear students, human beings also causes soil erosion? Yes, we are also responsible for soil erosion. Let us see how the roots of plants holds the soil particles together and they use the soil erosion. There are certain human activities which is increases the soil erosion. Now let us see what are they? Now let us see what are these human activities. First one is deforestation. Humans cut the forest to build the farms, cities, factories and roads. And also for requirement this makes land barren, that is no plants, trees and grass on the land, which is increases the soil erosion. Clothing also makes the soil loose, which may lead to soil erosion. Dear students, human beings also cause a soil erosion, that means deforestation. Felling of trees in large number from a forest is known as deforestation. Deforestation damages the green cover of the land. When a large area of forest is cleared for growing crops, mining, raising livestock or building roads, it gets exposed to wind and flowing water and the soil gets eroded. Thus, deforestation leads to soil erosion. Flowing of hill slopes is yet another human factor that leads to soil erosion. Overgrazing by cattle also causes soil erosion. Overgrazing. Overgrazing by cattle leads to the destruction of plants. Once the natural cover of plants is lost, the land becomes exposed to wind and flowing water, leading to soil erosion. Overgrazing leads to soil erosion. Dear students, overgrazing leads to soil erosion. Next one, soil conservation. Dear students, did you understand what I said? Next one topic is soil conservation. Nature took millions of years to form soil. Nature took millions of years to form soil. It is our responsibility to preserve and protect it. The protection of soil against erosion is called soil conservation. What is that, dear students? The protection of soil against erosion is called soil conservation. We cannot stop natural forces like wind and water from causing soil erosion. However, soil can be conserved by controlling the actions of these agents of erosion. This can be done in a number of ways. Dear students, soil conservation. The protection of soil against erosion is known as conservation. This means that we have to protect the soil. Students, it takes more hundred of years to form 1 centimeter thick layer of soil, but it can be eroded within few years. Therefore, it is important to protect the soil from erosion. There are many ways to soil conservation. Next one is on flat open grounds. Dear students, first one, soil conservation. The soil that we see around us has taken thousands of years to form. Fertile soil is precious. We need it to grow crops and maintain our forests. We must take good care of soil. Prevention of soil erosion is called soil conservation. Step 2, conservation soil. First one is on flat open grounds. After harvesting and before raising the next crop, field labor. This is when the wind blows off the topsoil. To prevent the soil from getting blown away, farmers grow cover crops such as grass and creepers. The roots of plants of these cover crops hold the soil particles together and preventing them from being blown away. Trees and bushes are grown along the boundaries of the fields. They act as a shield against strong winds and flat open grounds. After a crop like rice, wheat, jowar is harvested and before next crop is sown, the soil remains bare. The soil can be easily eroded by wind and water. To prevent this soil erosion, soil crops can be grown. This will decrease the soil erosion. Growing trees along the edges of the farmlands reduces the soil erosion by reducing the speed of wind. Next one is on hill slopes. Dear students, grow plants. To check the soil barren, land should be covered with a variety of plants. The roots of the plants firmly bend the soil particles and prevent the loss of soil due to the force of wind or flowing water. Dear students, on hill slopes, cutting the slope into steps or terraces can reduce soil erosion. Cutting the slopes into steps or terraces can be reduce soil erosion. Steps slow down the flow of water. As the water flow slow down, some soil from one step is left on the next step, reducing the amount of soil lost. Dear students, afforestation is growing trees is another effective method of soil conservation on hill slopes. Cutting the slope into steps or terrace can reduce soil erosion. Steps slow down the flow of water. As the water flow slow down, some soil from one step is left on the next step, reducing the amount of soil lost. Terrace of step farming. In hilly regions, crops are cultivated on the slopes of hills. If a slope of a hill is cleared for farming, the rainwater would flow downwards with force and wash away most of the fertile layer of the topsoil. Such a land would not be suitable for farming. For farming, in hilly regions, farmers convert hill into steps to grow crops. The steps reduce the flow of water and the soil washed away from a higher step is deposited on the lower step. Such farms are known as terrace farms. Advantages of terrace farming. It reduces the force of rainwater and prevents soil from being washed away. Rainwater fills up each step and the plants are able to absorb water. Next one, afforestation. Afforestation or growing trees is another effective method of soil conservation on hill slopes. Afforestation means planting of more trees is known as afforestation. Trees and grass grown on hill slopes and slopes prevent soil erosion. Next one, dear students, afforestation means growing more and more trees or plants. Afforestation is the process of planting trees for commercial use, usually on non-forest lands such as hill slopes and farms. Dear students, next one, building embankments. Dear students, next one is on fields near rivers. What is that? Next one is topic on fields near rivers. During the monsoon, many rivers overflow and flood the fields. To prevent floods, embankments along river banks are built. This holds the water between the banks and prevents soil erosion. What is the meaning of embankment? Wall along a river bank. During the monsoon, many rivers overflow and flood the fields. To prevent floods, embankments along the river banks are built. This holds the water between the banks and prevents soil erosion. Building bonds. During the rainy season, rivers overflow and the fertile topsoil of farmlands on the river banks gets washed away. To protect the soil near the river banks, burns are built along the banks. The burns work as barriers and prevent the river water from flowing with force into lands adjacent to the river. Dear students, embankment means a wall built to prevent flooding of rivers. Strong embankments prevents flooding of rivers which ultimately prevent soil erosion. These are the ways to which soil conserves. Dear students, we have to try our best to conserve the soil, which is one of our important natural resource. Students, this was all about soil erosion and conservation. Also students, don't forget to wash your hands regularly, eat healthy food, stay home and stay safe. Thank you.